You say people should continue to write them down.
No, I mean the sort of the last three that you're going to...
Right.
I would strongly recommend that whatever is the policy here, that one tries to tell B'nai Mitzvah, who are children of patrilineal descent, to go to the mikveh before they have their bar bat mitzvah. What it would mean for them to go to the mikveh before a bar bat mitzvah would mean that, again, I don't want to speak for everybody, but 90% of Jewry would find it that this is a Jewish person who, if someone has qualms about marrying a Jew or a non-Jew, that they would be considered Jewish by 90% of the Jewish community. And it really saves a great deal of heartache later on. I know of, cases of children of patrilineal descent who thought of themselves as being Jewish and then came to college and there became an issue of, can we include them in the minyan or not? Can we, is it okay to do X or Y or Z? And one saves a great deal of heartache by a very simple ritual ceremony. One has not even to think of it as a ceremony of conversion. One can think of it as a ceremony of affirmation. That one affirms the way I at age 13, affirmed the way that I was raised, and went to mikveh, and am now fully Jewish. So I would recommend that whatever you decide to do as a synagogue, I would recommend that you try very hard to help the kids in this community so that they are in fact considered Jewish by the widest number of Jews.
I want to say one more word before we get to that next piece to follow up what you just said. In that, to say that the hardest thing.
Where's God?
That the hardest thing that we have to do is to say no, that it's very easy to say yes, is true, and it's also the opposite is true. That one of those messages that we learn is that for a rabbi to be able to say, it's treif, you can't do it, it's easy to be able to do that. To be really learned is to be able to figure out how maybe there is a way and what it is that what we can do. And what you were just hearing was, in fact, a way to say yes while maintaining a sense of where those boundaries can be and where that's going to be in some form. When we're talking about who we are, congregations in many ways, mostly for better, sometimes in challenging ways, are like families. There are people in my family who I haven't seen in a long time, and fortunately they're very distant cousins, but it's a good thing that I haven't seen them. It's a struggle to do that family kind of thing, but for the most part, we're there for each other, we're there with each other, even with and even through different kinds of places and different kinds of decisions. When my brother-in-law married my sister-in-law and had 3 kids and decided that they were going to raise them at the local Unitarian Fellowship, they're my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law and my nephews and my niece, and I love them and I care about them. Life is complicated in terms of where that would be. Had the story been the story about talking about my son, it's not, it probably would have been more complicated. But what it is that we do with that and where that is and where we can be in community and how we go on and how we continue calls on tremendous amounts of all different kinds of emotional and cognitive intelligence. And it calls on another word that needs to be brought into the room. It calls on a lot of love.
Thank you, rabbis.
So I'm going to officially thank you, Rabbi Raymond, Rabbi Levin, and Rabbi Feld. I think you have shared a lot of scholarly and heartfelt thoughts and lessons with us. I think you've left us with a lot of questions. I think the proof that this was a success, whatever that might mean, is that I don't think it was long enough. I'm sensing that there are people sort of on the edge of their seats wanting to spend more time and ask more questions. So I regret that we have to close because we promised everybody we would at 4:30. But thank you all for traveling, for being with us. We hope you'll come back and visit. You're going to Shabbat off. And to all of our community, we do have one more request, if you would like to, and that is to get another card and pen and answer these 3 questions or some variety of it. Did this answer your questions? What is one understanding you'll take away? And do you have further questions? And we'll collect those, and hopefully that will guide us to our next steps. Yes, I will repeat them. Did this afternoon answer your questions? What is one understanding that you'll take away?
Leave it just to get
And do you have further questions, and what those might be?
No.